life was kindled. The nation stirred, the trumpet soundeth. The monarch died with crown unclaimed, and Bourbon blood made bold its same. Then through the realms the tempest spread, where kings contend and thousands bled. From Spain's proud hills to Naples' strand, to Holland's dike and Baltic land, the cannons roar and sabers flash did mark the age with ash and lash. Oh, list the cries on land and wave, from Thames to Po, from Rhine to grave, where sovereigns vied for golden right. The world did burn to crown the night. The northern bear with iron claw did smite the Swede with ruthless law. The lion roost on Albion's shore, and sent his fleets from strand to shore. Savoy's proud helm made bold its stand, and grasped a hold on Italia's land. Yet France of old, so rich and high, did wane 'neath famine's weary sigh. By ink and seal the world was split, one house denied another fit. The Spanish crown, now cleft in twain, did break the Latin people's chain. The bankers vault the merchant's chest, in Amsterdam their fortunes rest. The bank's new coin did England raise, to chart the seas and rule the days. No shore unscarred, no deep unstruck, the fields lay waste, the stars seemed stuck. The age was weighed in fire and steel, the cost too vast for time to heal. So drink to death and call it gain, a kingdom bought with blood and pain. The balance turned, the lines were drawn, thus was the world from darkness born. Where candle burns and shadows creep, the ghosts of kings their vigil keep.
Of bad luck, 1756, the world once more was drawn to picks from sound. The nations take their line. This war was sharp and near divine.
The call to arms,
the banners rise, the sabers gleam,
a soldier's life,
the nation's dream. The fields are wide, the skies are gray, and war begins in sharp array. Russia made their stand with Portugal and Russian hand, while France and Austria took the fight. Spain with thunder out. From Canada to Bengal shore, the lines were drawn, the world at war. No peasant's grain, no homestead burned, the soldier fed by what he earned. No torch was lit gainst cottage door, no weeping babes, no rape of war. Yet still the tally cold and grim marked 1,000,000 lost to him. The treaty and the empire at Paris signed, the tide was stayed. The lion's debt in gold was paid, the coast entire from pole to reef was handed down to Britain's chief. Thus ends the age of trade alone. Now England wears imperial throne. What once was goods is now domain. A crown of oceans, not of grain. March, march, ye regiments bold, your tale in treaty shall be told. Where drums did beat and banners flew, the world was caught by just a few. So ends the war of ordered fire, with kings grown fat and graves grown
In the year of our Lord 1775, the world did stir and thought came alive. Old crowns would crack, new flags would rise, and truth was born with blood. 13 stars on rebel thread, with dreams of law and tyrants dead. The farmer stood, the soldier bled, while France sent arms and Holland bred. The musket flared, the eagle flew, a sovereign realm from empire grew. What once was trade now claimed its fate, a people dared to separate. Strike the drum and sound the bell, the king shall burn, the truth shall swell. Though empires fall and children die, the flame of thought shall not bleed out. Then France did rise with starving might, the mob poured in, the courts took flight. A nation's wrath in crimson tide, and monarchs fled or bowed or died. From Paris streets to desert sand, the Corsican took sword in hand. With crown of laurel, cloak of war, he carved new worlds from Roman lore. March beneath the star where reason fights with saber scar. No throne is safe, no line holds fast, all law is writ in cannon blast. And still the tide ran further west, where Andes watched the eagle's quest. From Bolivar to Ayacucho's fight, the sun set slow on Spanish might. Fled from Rhine to Nile, from Boston port to Andean mile. The scepter snapped, the map grew red, 7 million left for dead. Ottoman arms, Russian frost, 1,000 charges, none not cost. The globe inflamed by king and creed, a war of thought and war of greed. age of kings is gone to pass. What truth remains was paid in gore. The world was changed, and evermore, from empire's fall to freedom's song, the war was just, and yet so
raised, no trumpet cry, but still the nations bled and died. The blade unseen, the game began. The war was waged by quiet hands. Italia stirred with hopes anew, yet met the heel of Austrians true. In fields where poppies dared to rise, the dream was crushed by priest and spies. But schemes were drawn across the sea. In London's club so carefully, where Piedmont failed, they'd shift the tide. Through Garibaldi's rebel stride, 1,000 men in scarlet flame, with foreign gold and righteous name. The South was rich, the South stood tall, so England moved to see it fall. To eastern shores the powers ran, where Russia's reach disturbed the plan. With France and Turks the sea was claimed. The bear was maimed but not yet tamed. Then Suez dream began to rise, a canal carved twixt sands and skies. Yet France and Italy held the key. This could not stand for Albion's sea. fractured, torn in soul. Young Crusher played its quiet role. In Schleswig, snow, in Königgrätz, it marked its march with sword and axe. No English fleet, no Seaburst drawn. They watched as France was overthrown. At Sedan's gates the eagle broke and needed England's kindly cloak. So ends the war of silent schemes, where nations died for stranger dreams. smoke, a league was born. A ghostly peace, a world reborn. Then plague arrived on silent wings, while Europe starved and poets sing. From Warsaw's gate to Delhi's tomb, the reaper danced in every room. The bankers smiled behind their glass, their ledgers clear, their rivals past. New York stood tall while London schemed, and power changed just as they dreamed. Mark the age and count the cost. The sons of kings, the mothers lost. The world now ruled by wires and planes. And none remember why it came. The war to end all wars, they said, but war had only raised its head. The maps were changed, the dice were cast, and peace would never truly last. bread for 1,000,000 mouths the hunger fed.
Across the sea the war grew wide. From pearl to he was bloodstained tide. Two cities blinked and ceased to be, in science forged by cold decree.
The mushroom rose like Babel's ghost. No language left, no final boast. And in its wake the nations bent to form one cage with good intent.
So ashes fell and borders blurred. The victor shaped the final word. One flag above, one tower's dome. A house of peace no longer home.
In Grecian hills and jungle thick, the fire still burned, the wounds ran quick. From Saigon's fields to Algiers shore, they fought and bled in silent war. And through it all, the watchful hand still traced its lines across the sand. The league dissolved, replaced anew, the chains now forged in red and blue.
80 million, maybe more, beneath the boots of global war. And from the smoke the world arose, not healed but shaped to fit its clothes.
A war for peace, a peaceful war. A door once shut now holds no floor. The language changed, the law revised, but still the fire never died.
Screens glow bright with lies and pain. The world in fire, yet all feels the same. From trenches to towers, the story repeats. A war in the shadows, a war in the streets.
In Ukraine's fields, the cannons roar. For long years, 1,000,000 more. In Gaza's night, the children fall. Yet newsmen whisper, deny it all.
The gears still grind, the plans still spin. A century script played out again. The hidden hands, the quiet kings still pull the world on poison strings. We've walked this road 1,000 years, built on blood and ruled by fears. But now the veil is wearing thin. A brighter age could yet begin. A sickness born behind closed doors, a cure that kills, a count of scores. Mandates, masks, and poison veins. The harvest sown in unseen chains.
But whispers rise through wired
We've played the game, in every age it ends the same.
But hope's a spark no war can kill. It waits within the human will.
We'll own no land, we'll own no name, and in this cage we'll sing the same. The screens declare a better fate, a world of peace behind the gate.
Yet in the streets and minds awake, the ancient chains begin to break. 1,000 years of silent cries now rise as stars in human skies.
We've walked this road 1,000 years, built on blood and ruled by fears. But now the veil is wearing thin, a brighter age could yet begin.
This war may be the last we fight, if hearts turn truthward, eyes to light. For every empire fades to dust, but love endures when built on trust. Break the chain, the time is now. Lift the earth and make the vow. No more kings and no more slaves. One world free, not one world caged.
The seventh dawn is ours to choose. Blood and fire,
Crown and creed,
1,000 years of ash and need. Still we rise, still we bleed.
what have we learned?
What do we leave?
Is peace a dream or just rebreathe? The war goes on inside our breath, but even still
We dream of rest. We are the ones they could not break, the seed they buried wide awake. Through dust and grief, the roots run deep, a world to build, a vow to keep. No throne shall hold what hearts reclaim, no fear shall bind the dream again. And though the storm has yet to cease, the seed remains. The seed is peace.